Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's lesson on ED pronunciation. And today we are going to talk about how to pronounce past tense verbs using ED. So, some past tense verbs do not have ED, they are irregular. Today's lesson is all about words ending in ED. So, let's get started. Let's think about 3 ways to pronounce the ED sound. You might be asking, which ED sound? I am talking about the ED sound that we find in past tense verbs. For example, played, watched, worked, and some adjectives. For example, elated, bored, confused. So these ED sounds at the end of many verbs and some adjectives are really common, right? And there are 3 different ways to pronounce them. So I want you to think about that. What are the 3 ways to pronounce ED? I want you to pause this video, take a couple minutes to think of past tense verbs ending in ED, and I want you to think to yourself, does the ED always sound the same, or does it change sometimes? I'm going to do the same thing. So please pause this video, give yourself a moment to think of words ending in ED, and think about how you have heard them pronounced. Okay, so if you're coming back from having paused this video, I hope you found some examples. Here are some of the examples that I found of past tense verbs ending in ED. Please notice the different ED sounds on each word. The first word, comment, or in past tense, commented. Second word, talked. Third, planned. So one more time, commented, talked, planned, commented, talked, planned. Do you notice any differences? So you might have noticed that commented ends in an id sound at the end. Talked ends in a t sound at the end. Planned ends with a d sound at the end. So one more time. Commented, talked, planned. Let's practice the id or id sounds. So please listen and repeat each word. And I want you to pay attention to any patterns. So what patterns or patrones do you see? So adjust, adjusted. Notice the id sound. Remember the id sound. Comment, commented. Eliminate, eliminated. Decide, decided. Defend, defended. Demand, demanded. Let's practice the t sounds. So when we're practicing this sound, think of it as like an explosion coming out of your mouth. So I'm putting my tongue at the top of my mouth, behind my teeth, and I'm going t, t. So listen and repeat. Once again, do you notice any patterns? Bake, baked. Talk, talked. Walk, walked. Laugh, laughed. Cough, coughed. Pass, passed. Wash, washed, watch, watched. Now let's practice the d sounds, or d. So again, listen and repeat, and think about any patterns that you notice. Smell, smelled. Cancel, canceled. Hug, hugged. Grab, grabbed. Plan, planned. Assign, assigned. Form, formed. Classify, classified. So that's a quick example of some of the ways to pronounce the three different words. Don't worry, or the three different sounds, excuse me. But don't worry, we will practice a lot more in the next couple activities. So first of all, did you notice any patterns between the three different ways of pronouncing the ED sound? What patterns did you notice? Here are the patterns or rules that you might have noticed. First, the ED sound is pronounced id when the present tense word ends in a t or d sound. So sometimes this is a T or a D, but I want you to always pay attention to the sound. As we know, English sounds are crazy, right? English spelling is difficult, confusing. It's sometimes very crazy, right? So don't pay too much attention to the letter. Think mostly about the sound. For example, in all of these examples, we have the letter representing the sound, so it works very well. But let's look at that. So adjust ends in the T sound. Comment ends also in the T or T sound. Eliminate, also T or T. Decide, now we have a D sound. And the same thing here with defend and demand, all D sounds. So we have three words with T sounds, or a T sound, and three words with a D or D sound. Adjusted, commented, eliminated, decided, defended, demanded. So, with the ED sound pronunciation t, the present tense word ends in an unvoiced sound. Think about, what does unvoiced mean? So in Spanish, I think an unvoiced sound would be called sonido sordo or sonidos sordos. Excuse my pronunciation. But don't worry too much about that linguistic terminology. I want you to think about what unvoiced means. So unvoiced is a sound where our throat does not vibrate, no hay vibraciones, when we make this sound. So for example, if you notice the t sound comes out of my mouth, it does not come from my throat. So t is not a sounded word, or it is an unvoiced sound. Same thing with k, ch. So notice that all of these words, or excuse me, all of these sounds come from my mouth and usually my lips, like the front part of my mouth right here. There is no chance for a voice or a vibration coming from my throat. Same thing with the S sounds. S, sh. These sounds come from my mouth, not my throat. So these are unvoiced sounds. These are sonidos sordos. So let's look at some examples of when we use the t pronunciation on the end with sonidos sordos, or unvoiced sounds. Bake, baked. Talk, talked. walk, walked, laugh, laughed, cough, coughed, pass, passed, wash, washed, watch, watched. So this time we are going to think about voiced sounds. So the opposite of the sounds that we just looked at. Voiced sounds are sonidos sonoros. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Excuse me if I'm not. But this time with the voiced sounds, these are coming from our throat. So, for example, we can feel a vibration with voiced sounds. Hay vibraciones desde la garganta cuando estamos diciendo these sounds. For example, b, d, g, j, l, m, n, ng, etc. So all of these sounds create a vibration in our throat. For example, if I say smell, when I'm saying that L sound, there's a vibration in my throat. Same thing with hug, grab, plan, assign. Try it for yourself. Touch your throat and notice the vibration happening with smell, cancel, hug. These are voiced sounds. So with voiced sounds, we always say d. For example, I'm going to have my hand on my throat to pay attention to the vibration coming from my throat. Smell, smelled. Cancel, canceled. Hug, hugged. Lots of vibration happening here. Grab, grabbed. Plan, planned. Assign, assigned. Form, formed. Classify, classified. So now that we know the 3 different rules, let's practice. Please listen and repeat. So for the first round of practice, the final sound is t or d. So you will say id. For example, want, wanted. Please repeat after me. Want, wanted. Start, started. Adjust, adjusted. Need, needed. Demand, demanded. Nice job. Now we have final sound unvoiced. So remember, there's no vibration coming from our throat. For example, k, s, sh, ts. No vibration coming from my throat. So with these unvoiced sounds, we say t. Let's practice. Bake, baked. No vibration, so I'm saying t. Bake, baked. Cough, coughed. Pass, passed. Blitz, blitzed. Nicely done. 2 rounds done, 1 more to go. So now we are thinking about voiced sounds. B, d, g, j, s, ooh, lots of voiced sounds. So there's too many to remember. Don't stress about all of these sounds. Just pay attention to the vibration or no vibration. And remember, if there's a vibration, it's a voiced sound, and you say d. For example, smell, lots of vibration. L, smell, smelled. Hug, hugged. Grab, grabbed. Assign, assigned. Form, formed. Cancel, Canceled. Time for a challenge. So now that we have practiced each one together, and if you'd like to practice more, please go back and maybe think about pausing the video after each sound. But I think you are ready for a challenge. So let's see if you can say the correct ending before me. So there will be some words, for example, need and needed. I am going to say the first word, and I want you to say the past tense word before I say the past tense word. Let's practice. Need, needed. Were you able to say the past tense before me? I hope so. Let's keep going. Assign, assigned. Cough, coughed. Hug, hugged. I'm going to speed up. Form, formed. Wash, washed. Want, wanted. Modify, modified. Bake, baked. Cancel, canceled. Start, started. Plan, planned. Nicely done. How did you do? So, if there are any words or sounds you are struggling with, I want you to think about replaying the previous activity or little tasks that we've done or little lessons and practice again. So we want you to keep talking, keep practicing, and always remember, if you're viewing this video on the Common Ground International website, please practice using the activities linked below. So you will notice many activities linked below this video. Access those activities, practice, practice, practice. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, click the link in the description to access more activities and materials on our website. Please be sure to share any questions or comments in the comment box. We love hearing from you. Share your questions, share your comments, share your ideas. We want to hear from you. And if you learned something from this video, please subscribe to our newsletter to get more English learning resources. And we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to continuing to learn with you. Have a beautiful day. We will talk with you soon. Bye, everyone.